Hello, gorgeous soul, and welcome to this epic podcast. This is a place where you are encouraged and you have absolute freaking permission to unapologetically go after all of your dreams, all of your visions, all of your things on your vision board, like everything that your heart desires. I'm your host, Angharad, the High Vibe Babe, and I believe that we're all in this life to expand and experience our wildest dreams. If one of us can have it, then we all can. So that is the aim of this podcast. Each week I'll either be going solo or have guests with the aim to inspire, uplift you and give you the tools for you to live your most epic AF life and business possible. You can find me on Instagram with the handle @HighVibeBabe. Now let's get into today's episode. Hi loves, I'm Angharad here, Hi Vibe Babe. Today we're going to talk about I'm going to do a training on why some old shadows are resurfacing. Ones that we thought we've dealt with and we're like, what the fuck? Why are you coming up right now? I have no idea why you're coming up. We do all the normal mindset things that work for us time and time and time again. And yet these little bastards keep hanging around. Who else has been experiencing this? Because I freaking have seen such a collective theme right now about this happening. Like I've experienced it in my life, I've experienced it in my husband's life, all of like every single one of my personal clients, plus a lot of my group coaching clients are all experiencing this right now. And then I did a vote on my stories yesterday and had probably like 50 votes all together. Everyone saying like, yes, this is what I'm experiencing right now. Like this has been something that's been going for a couple of weeks now, and I noticed it a couple of weeks ago and dealt with it, and then I've led my clients through it because it's just been a hell of a time. I don't know if there's some sort of astrology thing going on right now, but I swear to God there must be, because what's happening is like like I just said before, right? It's the old wounds. It's things that we thought we have dealt with, we have dealt with, right? It's things from like so long ago. Like I had things resurfacing from like probably 5 years ago, things. Like it's a very long time ago, right? This stuff, and we have continually like dealt with it, and we know about mindset, and we've like pushed away and like done all the things, right? And it's still not happening. It still keeps on lurking. When I find it's like it keeps on lurking, and for me and a lot of my clients, it's felt like a bit of anxiety. It's felt like an overload, something that just will not go away, something very persistent that does not want to go away, right? Now I want to explain a few things for you as to why this is happening. The first thing I have noticed with these shadows is that it needs more airtime than normal limiting beliefs do, or normal wounds, or normal trauma, or whatever it is. Right now, we're really being called to look into our shadows and give them airtime. Like not just a couple of minutes, not just a couple of seconds in journaling, not just a quick mindset thing like, okay, this is not what I choose to believe, this is my new reality, all these sorts of things, right? It needs much more airtime than this. And this is the reason why I'm going to explain to you. When we go through a trauma, right, and the easiest way I can describe this is like when I lost my father when I was 7, so grief. So if you've experienced grief in your life, this is really going to resonate with you, but any sort of trauma, you're going to understand this, okay? When something first happens to you, it's all you can think about. Like every waking second of the day, you'll have like 30 seconds when you make a cup of tea and you might forget about it or something. But when something happens in the beginning, all we can do is think about that. It's always there, always present, right? And then the timeline expands. Then it might be like we think about it, every 30 minutes, or we might have a gap for 10 minutes, right? And then it gets longer. Then it's like still the first thing we wake up and think about in the morning, and still the last thing we think about when we go to sleep, right? But we have some patches during the day when we're playing with our kids, or, when I was a kid, obviously I wasn't playing with my kids, but I was playing with my siblings or riding my bike or something. I might forget for a few moments or a few hours, and it extends out longer and longer and longer, right? So the same feelings of the trauma, the emotion, the hurt, the pain, it gets longer and longer until suddenly we think about once a day, and then next minute it's like a few days a week where we're feeling like this, and then sometimes it expands and expands and expands. So now like 20 something, I can't count, 22 years later, I think, since my father passed away, I don't feel that level of grief. I probably only feel that like once a year, maybe. Sometimes it's 2 times a year, sometimes not for 3 years. So it's like a much bigger, the way I describe it is like a vortex. So in the beginning, it's a very tight swirl. You're thinking about it like every 10 minutes, and it gets bigger, and it's like every hour, and then it's every month and weekday, whatever year, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right? The spiral, until it comes back to the beginning point where we feel that trauma. You can't really see because I'm like, but you can just, as a vortex, right? Where it comes back around, it gets longer and longer. So what I'm noticing right now is a collective of a lot of old wounds, a lot of past trauma, limiting beliefs, a lot of things that held us back in the past are resurfacing right now. Does it mean that for instance, with my grief with my dad, that I just lost my dad all over again. No, my dad died 20 years ago, right? But I'm still feeling the same grief. There's nothing wrong with our emotions. That's also what I want to tell you is like, I've done a lot of work around emotional intelligence. This is a big thing that I do within my clients and within my business, because you cannot scale to a massive business without emotional intelligence. You just can't. But your emotions, your bad feeling emotions aren't bad. It is not bad for you to feel sad. It's not bad for you to feel desperate. It's not bad for you to feel angry. It's not bad for you to feel like you just want to cry and you're a puddle on the ground. Your emotions are not bad. Your identity and your emotions are two separate things. But what we do is we attach stories. The last time I felt anxiety, that I was depressed. This was one of my stories. I was starting to feel anxiety this like a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, oh my God, I have depression. Because for me, they went hand in hand. So what I've done is I've attached emotions, an emotion to a story, to a trauma, to something that happened in the past, right? Like, I know we've all felt this, we've all created stories. When we're tired, when we're on a moon, when we need to relax, when we feel like shit, when we're angry, this means we're not productive. It means we're not being our best self. Who else has experienced this, right? We feel these emotions and we automatically think that this is us, but your emotions, your identity are two different things, okay? Chocolate cake and spaghetti, they don't mix separately. It's fine to eat your spaghetti and then go eat chocolate cake, separate courses, but if you put them in the same bowl, it's just nasty, okay? It's nasty, nasty, nasty. They don't belong together. Your identity, your stories, and your emotions, they are completely separate things, okay? So when you're feeling a bad emotion, it does not mean you're bad, does not mean you're lazy, does not mean that you're failing, does not mean that you're destined to fail, does not mean that you're back where you were when you last felt those emotions, right? You're not back at a 3 year ago state when you just broke up with your partner. You're not back at a state in the 3 year ago state when you just had a whole lot of depression, whatever it is, you had a whole lot of scarcity. Whatever you're feeling right now doesn't mean that you are back there, okay? It's completely different. Your emotions are just an emotion. It's just a feeling. It's a bad feeling, but it is not bad to feel bad, right? So that being said, what I want to then say is a vortex, right? So when you are feeling the same emotions, when you're feeling these old traumas, this shit resurfacing that you're like, I have dealt with this. I dealt with this a couple of years ago and I've come so far because I did deal with this, right? All I'm telling you is that you're coming back around the vortex, okay? And we all know from healing and trauma and everything, there are layers to healing. I have moved through so many layers of sexual trauma this year alone, and it's the same things, but there's layers. There's layers and layers and layers. Just like emotional intelligence, just like mindset, just like learning about money mindset, about everything, right? There is always layers. There's always more we can learn about everything, right? Spiritual growth, business, Instagram strategies. There's always more and more and more we build on, right? So what I want to tell you is when you're coming back around to that vortex, when it's coming back around again, you're like, holy shit, don't let yourself go into the stories. Don't buy into the story that you are back where you were, that everything's going to fall off the cart, that everything's fucked. I may as well go back into my old habits, whatever it is. Okay, don't do that, because you are just experiencing a different layer, it's a different layer of healing, a different layer of mindset stuff, right? So when it comes to actually healing, what I want to tell you is it appears that this time around, everything needs a lot more airtime. So what I mean by this is, like on those rainy days and you're hanging out, you're washing, or like one of those, in summer when you're hanging out washing, it's dry within 30 minutes, right? It's like hot and it's just like dry, right? Versus winter, it takes like a lot longer. Like it's you need like a 6-hour day of sun, right? To like really, and then sometimes you have to go finish off in the dryer, right? Okay, if you're not from New Zealand or Australia, I think overseas you do all your washing in a dryer, but over here it's a standard practice for us to hang out our washing outside. I don't know why it's not over there, but still. Okay, hi, the New Zealand life. But it needs more airtime. So what I'm saying is you need to sit with it. Honestly, allow yourself to sit in the shit. Sit in the emotions. Allow it to just be, especially if you're an emotional thrower within human design, babe. Like, you have to lean into it. Do not run away from it, because you're just going to create much more resistance, right? Resistance, when there's resistance, it'll persist, right? What's he saying? There's something about that, whatever, just anyway. Sit with it. Allow yourself to truly sit in it. Stop pushing it away. This stuff is not just going to go away with some magic mindset things, which do work for us normally with the limiting beliefs, affirmations, choosing a new reality, right? All these different things, acting away as if. These things that are surfacing right now, I'm seeing in the collective, need much more than that. They need us to lean in. They need us to cry, to process, to journal, to do the things that feel really good for you, but don't have too much expectations of yourself. It's also a new moon coming up, right? So there's all of the more crone energy and stuff coming up too, right? So allow yourself to sit with it for a good amount of time. It's not a 5-minute journal. It's not a 5-minute journal prompt, okay? Like for me, it was probably a couple of days. That's what I found. A couple of days sitting with it, just to have lower expectations of yourself, allow yourself to sit with it, and then you're going to know, you're going to feel a pull. You're going to be like, yep, it's done. It's ready to move on. I'm ready to move on. And then go and apply all of the mindset things that you've already done to move through it the first time, right? The affirmations, the journaling, the things, the morning and night, right? When our brain waves are different when we're first waking up and going to sleep, saying affirmations to ourselves. I have a whole program about this, Bust Through the BS, if you want to know much more about mindset. It's in my link in my bio. It's an amazing program. It's only $33 a month. You can cancel anytime. If you want to dig much more into mindset, how I literally have done everything, but just then apply all of the mindset things that you already know how to do that have already helped you so much in your life to this point, okay? So the keys are emotional intelligence. It's just a trauma resurfacing into vortex, right? There's layers. Allow yourself to sit in it. It needs much more airtime, and then do the mindset things and press forward and go and do the things. But if you don't give it the airtime it needs, it's just going to resurface a couple of days later, right? Thank you for coming here. Thank you for honoring yourself. Thank you for continuing to heal your shadows, right? Because when we heal our shadows, when we heal ourselves, we heal the whole fucking world. Firstly, collectively, but secondly, we stop projecting all of our shit onto everyone else in our lives, right? The people that are closest to us that deserve the best of us often get this projection of this shadow around us. So heal yourself and you heal the world. Thank you so much for doing this work. Thank you so much for showing up for yourself and your family and your loved ones and your business in this way. I'm sending you so much love. I'll see you very soon. Bye. If you have enjoyed this episode, I would adore if you would screenshot it, chuck it up on your stories with your favorite takeaway moment, and tag me at HiByBabe on Instagram so that more people can see this and get this content and get this message out there to really shape and change and impact other people's lives. Do you desire to be around more high vibe women who really get you, who encourage you, who support you no matter what? Yeah, well, guess what? I have a place that you belong. It is called High Vibe Babes Community. It is a free Facebook group and I would love to have you in there. There are so many free trainings and epicness in this group, so please get your booty in there. It would mean the world if you would subscribe to this podcast, do the reviews, the rating, the stars, all of the things. Thank you so much for being here. I cannot wait to chat with you on the next episode. I'm sending you all of the vibes and all of the love. Over and out from Angharad, the High Vibe Babe.